Monroe, it's Mrs. Ireland. We can connect this week's theme of animals to movement and also reading and writing skills. Words are made up of parts called syllables. Recognizing those syllables or parts helps us to read and spell. Today, we're going to practice breaking words into their syllables and then see how it helps us with spelling. So to get set up, you're going to need to draw numbers 1 through 5 on the ground. I just use sidewalk chalk. You could also use paper plates and just write the numbers on the plates, or even just pieces of paper. The second thing you're going to need some animals. So maybe at home you have animal figures like these. You could just gather some animal figures and put them in a bowl or a bag. But I'm actually going to use stuffed animals. So I gathered a bunch of stuffed animals from my house, put them in this basket, and then I'm going to be choosing animals out of the basket. So let me show you how it works. So you'll choose an animal out of the basket. You're going to say the name of the animal, and you're going to break the name of the animal into its parts. But instead of just saying it, I want you to jump while you break the animal's name into its parts. So I chose rabbit. So I would jump or hop as I break the word into its parts. Rabbit. So I'm going to go rabbit. Two parts. And I'm actually going to lay the rabbit beside the 2. Maybe the next time I reach in, I get unicorn. So now I have to hop or jump unicorn. Unicorn. That time 3 parts. So I'm going to lay the unicorn by the 3. Let me just choose one more. Maybe I choose, hippopotamus. So this time jumping out the parts in hippopotamus. Hippopotamus. 5. Hippopotamus had 5 parts. Once you've used all the animals in your basket and you've laid them by the number of syllables that they have in their name, I'd like you to choose one from each row, or I guess you could choose as many as you want, but try to choose one from each row. Say the syllables again, stretch through the sounds, and see if you can spell the word. For example, cat. When I jump the syllables in cat only has 1 syllable. So I'm going to draw 1 line. And then I'm actually going to stretch through the sounds in the word cat and see if I can spell it. Cat. So let me come over here to my 2. Rabbit. When I jumped rabbit, it had 2 syllables. Rab-bit. So this time I'm going to go rab-bit. And I'm going to try to stretch through the sounds in each syllable to spell my word. So rab, b, rab, bit, b, it, rabbit. Then unicorn. It actually had 3 syllables. Unicorn. So this time I need to draw 3 lines. Unicorn. And now I'm going to stretch through the sounds. Or corn. Unicorn. Now, we did just practice using animal names, but you can actually stretch through sounds in words, break words into their syllables, anytime you are writing.
Good morning, Monroe boys and girls. Welcome back to Biddle Bee's Poetry. Last week our theme for our poetry was the theme of nature. I hope you went out and had fun finding flowers and writing poems about them and drawing pictures and labeling. This week our theme is going to be animals. And boys and girls, there are lots and lots of poems that have to do with animals. I hope you like the ones that I've selected. The launch part of our lesson is the poem. My neighbor's dog is purple. My neighbor's dog is purple. Its eyes are large and green. Its tail is almost endless. It's the longest I've ever seen. My neighbor's dog is quiet, does not bark one bit. But when my neighbor's dog is near, I feel afraid of it. My neighbor's dog looks nasty. It has a wicked smile. Before my neighbor painted it, it was a crocodile. That was a surprise ending, wasn't it? During this poem, I hope you were doing a lot of visualizing. Visualizing, boys and girls, is when you get a picture inside your head of what's going on in the story. I'm going to give you a sentence now, and now we're going to practice visualizing. It was a warm, sunny day with clouds in the sky, and there were birds flying by the clouds. Now shut your eyes, visualize it. Okay, open up. I hope that what you visualized was something that looks like this. It was a sunny day with clouds in the sky, and there were birds flying by. Visualizing is simply making a picture in our imagination. Now, the landing part of our lesson today, boys and girls, is going to be a beginning, middle, and ending activity. I want you to take a piece of paper and fold it into thirds this way. And then we're going to open it up. And the first part will be the beginning, the middle, and the end. And Mrs. Biddle's going to read to you the beginning part of the poem, the middle, and the end. And at the end of my reading each part, I want you to pause the video and I want you to draw a picture of what we just read. And if you forget it, you can rewind and you can read it, hear it again. For the beginning, my neighbor's dog is purple. Its eyes are large and green. Its tail is almost endless. It's the longest I've ever seen. Middle part. My neighbor's dog is quiet. It does not bark one bit. But when my neighbor's dog is near, I feel afraid of it. And the last ending part. My neighbor's dog looks nasty. It has a wicked smile. Before my neighbor painted it, it was a crocodile. So when you're done, boys and girls, you'll have a beginning picture, a middle picture, and an ending picture. Boys and girls, I hope you've enjoyed this week's Poetry with Biddle. And as we close here, I'd like to share one more poem. Hang on, it's coming. I can't resist it because it's one of my favorites. And it's about an animal too. It's called Boing Boing Squeak. Boing Boing Squeak. Boing Boing Squeak. A bouncing mouse is in my house. It's been there for a week. He came from out of nowhere. He quickly settled in. I'm thankful that he came alone. I heard he had a twin. He bounces in the kitchen. He bounces in the den. He bounces in the living room. Look, there he goes again. The mouse just keeps on bouncing every minute of the day. He bounces, 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 but he never bounces away. Have a great week, Monroe. Be safe, and I'll see you next week.
Hi, Monroe. Mrs. Fischer here to show you another fun math game that you can play with your friends. I have today my husband who's going to help me demonstrate the game. This is Mr. Fischer.
Hi, Monroe.
And the game, I really don't have a name for it, but it's creating story problems with animals and numbers. All you need is a deck of cards. And what I did is I removed the face cards, which are your jacks, queens, and kings. I kept the aces in there because they are equal to 1. And then I made a grid. And this grid will show you, has the name of an animal. I chose duck, cat, cow, wolf. You can pick any animal that you want. And then you're going to also put a number in that grid. And the reason for the number is because you are going to create a story problem using the name of the animal and the number that's in there in the box and whatever number you draw from the deck. Okay? You'll also need a crayon or pencil or a marker so that you can cross these off as you finish. Now, the way the game is played is you are going to choose a card, and this card is number 7. And so what I did is I'm going to come up with a story problem. I'm going to pick any of my choices here on my grid, and I'm going to say, I'm going to choose pig, and it has the number 3 in it. So I have to create a story problem using the 7, the 3, and the word pig. And so my story problem can either be addition, subtraction, and if you're in the higher grades, you can even use multiplication. Okay, and I'm going to tell my story problem to my opponent. my opponent is going to try to figure out the answer to that story problem. And if he gets the correct answer, then he keeps the card. If he doesn't get the correct answer, then I have a chance to get the correct answer and I get to keep the card. And then we would keep taking turns until the game is finished. So, Mr. Fisher, I have 7 pigs in a slot pen, and 3 more pigs came to eat with them. How many pigs do I have there?
10 pigs.
Very good. What did you do to solve that?
I added 3 to 7 and got 10.
Excellent. All right, so he gets to keep that card, and we would cross off pig. Now it's his turn to draw from the deck.
I drew an 8. So I will pick spider. Now, Mrs. Fisher, if I had 8 spiders crawling up the wall and I went and smacked all 8 of them and now there was no spiders going up the wall, how many spiders would I have left?
He gave me the answer, didn't he? There would be 0 spiders. 8 spiders were climbing up the wall. 8 spiders got smushed. How many spiders are left? 0. So I get the card.
Very good.
And he would cross it off. And we would continue playing that game until all of the boxes were crossed off. And then you could add up your number of cards, and that would be the winner. Okay? Have fun playing it. Bye, Monroe.